It's just, you have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting, it is development, as Ken said.
How do you force change, though? I mean, Larry, BlackRock has really been in the forefront of the ESG movement within corporate governance and a real leader. And yet change is so slow. So what is, and Ken as well, how do you force change when it is so incremental and so gradual? How do you do something more radical? Have you thought about that? Has the board of American Express thought about more radical things we could do to enhance diversity and inclusion?
Because it has to be imbued in the culture of a firm. It has to be talked about, it has to be shown. Behaviors across the entire firm in every region have to be similar. And every citizen of the firm has to understand what is acceptable behaviors and what are unacceptable behaviors.
Unacceptable! Unacceptable!
Hey, all you wonderful, unapologetic Americans out there. It's Mike. I'm back with another video. This time about BlackRock and ESG and how they are shaping the world with the monies. This freaking guy. This is like the most powerful guy in the world right now. It seems like this guy runs BlackRock. BlackRock is, as was said in the video, like the leader in ESG, which if you don't know what ESG is, environmental and social governance standards, which as you heard him say, needs to be behavior that is across the board in every region that accepts their money. They want to normalize deviant behavior across the entire world through the governance of these corporations that they are funding. It's the whole get woke, go broke thing, and you're like, wait a second, these guys are all getting so bloody woke, but they're all still in business. How is that happening? If you didn't know, and this might be news for some of you, it's because this guy is paying them tons of money to go woke. And so it's like you're taking, you know what you're doing? You're destroying the free market. The free market of ideas should be that you come up with something, you create something, you put the time, the money, the effort into putting it in the market, and the market decides whether it's a good idea or not. But instead, what this guy is doing is he is bribing all of these companies to rather than to fight in the free market, to produce ideological propaganda, and not just media-wise. He says it in the companies themselves. He wants the composition of their teams to reflect ESG. In other words, you're hiring too many talented white people. You need to hire some blacks, some browns, some gays, some trans, some... I don't think they can hire Orientals and Mexicans anymore because clearly they're all white now. That's probably a different issue, but it's insane because they just come right out and say it. They want to radically change the composition of corporate America. And you want to see how much of an impact this guy has? Let's see. What are the major companies that BlackRock actually funds? This is from glennbeck.com. Here are the top 33 most recognizable companies that receive massive funding from BlackRock. Oh! Surprise, surprise. Apple. $1 billion for your little iPad and your little iPhone. I use an iPad, so it's like impossible to get away from this stuff. It's impossible to get away from the people and the corporations that are being completely, fully funded. Well, not completely, but that are being, let's just say it, that are being bribed to go woke in this. Oh, thank God for Elon Musk and Twitter. Microsoft, $532 million. Anybody out there using any Microsoft stuff like on your computer like right now? Amazon. Goes without saying. Amazon, $596 million. You can't get away from it. You would have to. Here's a funny thing. I hear all these people back and forth saying, "Don't give money to corporations that hate you." And it's, go through this list. You'd have to live in the woods in a tent that you probably had to make yourself, using tools that you probably had to forge yourself, in order to not have given money to companies that hate you, if we're going by this list. That's just the sad reality of it. So you have to pick and choose. You have to be wise. And you know what? In my, like, I'm a creative, right? So I create comic books. I create intellectual properties and whatnot. My contention is that you can't get away from it. So what you have to do is use them the way they're being used by BlackRock, right? They're being used by BlackRock. You use them in return to not just make a living, but perhaps help build the parallel economy. For those who don't know, the parallel economy is a lot of creative types. Like I said at the end of the last video, get out there, do something, use your time, your talent, your treasure to create the parallel economy, to fight the culture war. And it's really sad to say, but it's just reality. You have to use these guys in order to reach the audience to fight the culture war. We can only push the tide by being in the water, right? You can only push the tide by being in the water. I just made that up, and it's a fantastic new saying that I'm going to use all the time. All right. Alphabet, Google. I use DuckDuckGo, but I still have a Gmail account. Oh, it's impossible. Johnson & Johnson. Let's not go there. Exxon. I never use Exxon. JP Morgan Chase. My mom banks at JP Morgan Chase. I have a Chase credit card. Visa. Yeah, I have a Visa card. Who doesn't have a Visa card? You know, what are you, 16 years old? You don't have the credit yet? Chevron, occasionally. Home Depot, yes. Pfizer, I'm an enemy of big pharma, so don't get me started. MasterCard, so there you go. Visa or MasterCard, if you're using cards in any way, shape, or form. I don't know, is Discover on this list? I don't know, it's just crazy. Pepsi, Coke, Meta, Bank of America, Walmart, Costco, McDonald's, Verizon, Walt Disney, of course, Raytheon, UPS, Nike, AT&T, Netflix, CVS, Lockheed Martin, Salesforce, I never knew about it. Starbucks, I don't drink Starbucks, so I'm safe there. American Express, see, there you go. Even unless Discovery's on here, then you're just kind of screwed if you want to use cards for anything. Cash only, you say? The U.S. government is welcome. Boeing, General Mills. Wow. What a list. What a list. You can't get away from this freaking guy. He's got his thumb and his fingers in every flippin' major corporate pie in America. And they're doing everything they can to force their deviant, disgusting, anti-human agenda on the rest of us. What can you do? What can anyone do about it? Well, fight. Again, get in the fight. Time, talent, treasure. Those are the things God has given you. Use them whatever way you can. Volunteer with your time or use your time to help others build the counterculture. Talent. Use your talents. Whatever talents they may be. Find a way to use those talents to build the counterculture. Treasure. If you've got money, put it in the right place. Sitting in the bank, clearly, it's just helping these jackasses. So use that money. Invest in people and in companies that are doing the right thing, fighting for our culture, fighting for constitutional values, Christian values, libertarian values, fighting to push. Look, get in the water and move the tide. That's what I'm saying. God bless everybody here. Unapologetic Americans all. I love you, and I love America. Have a good one. I need a better sign out than that. Peace.
America. America.